Hey everybody, T.O. from Art Geek Teaching. Today we're going to make DIY Saltwash. Coming up. Alright, couple ingredients. All I have here is some coarse kosher salt. You could use Himalayan salt, but that'd be really coarse. I've got some powdered plaster of Paris, and then we're going to mix up a little paint. All I have here is a piece of MDF. These are cut-offs from various projects, and so I just paint them, do something on them, and then we end up using them, putting some resin over them, and whatever, making them a little charcuterie board or something. So I am just going to lay out some paint first. The big thing with this is you're going to blot it on. I'm just going to have to eyeball this. If you want an actual recipe, you could use a quarter cup of paint to a tablespoon of salt and a tablespoon of plaster of Paris. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this and see how it acts. I can hear the wind. The cladding on my greenhouse is lifting. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add some more of each of these. And here's the thing: you really, I probably put too much paint in there. You really only want to mix as much as you're going to use, because it doesn't last. It doesn't have a shelf life at all. I am messy. There we go. This will be better. I'm going to go through several iterations of this. We're going to mix it, let it dry, put another coat on, let it dry. So the time on this is only in drying time. It really, after that, is fairly straightforward. I'm going to put the lid back on this lightly. It's kind of like the other one. The only difference is we made this. It's way less expensive. I think one of the boxes, cardboard boxes of Saltwash, just like $35. So this is a very inexpensive way to get there. And I think for me the results are just about the same. All right, good. That's good. So I'm just going to let this dry, and then we'll come back with another color. I'm going to just do 4 or 5 colors on this. There we go. Color number 1. Okay, we'll move on to the next color. Judging by what we did last time, I'll put a couple tablespoons or teaspoons in. Part of the reason this doesn't last very long is the salt kind of starts to dissolve, right? Which would make sense. So that's one of the reasons it doesn't really last all that long. Okay, I think I'm going to go with 4 colors here, and I'll just keep keep doing these. Kind of want to pull up from the bottom there because it feels like some of the salt is, you know, laying on the bottom there. Probably better do a few on the edge here. All right, there is color number 2. We'll let him dry, go wash up. Okay, color number 3. We're going to put in some brighter yellow, and then I think I'm going to go with, I don't know, maybe an orange or something. A couple teaspoons of plaster, a couple teaspoons of salt. And you can see there are, I mean, each time I've mixed this paint, it's been a kind of a different degree of chunkiness, right? So it's not critical. It doesn't really matter that much. And you don't have to have a brush like this. You literally can use any brush. A little chip brush probably works just as good as this thing. So, you know, a little cheap $1 or less chip brush would work really good. All right, there's color number 3. I'll go wash up. Okay, I'm kind of feeling like I want to go with some red and then maybe one more color after that, kind of orange. I mean, we'll see. I'm playing around here, and I just want to, you know, get some color on this thing. So definitely going to put some red on this thing. Dip into our plaster of Paris. There's a heaping teaspoon and another heaping teaspoon, I guess, ish. And then I've got, okay, I'm going to go get some more salt. That was about a teaspoon and a half. Let's see what it looks like. I think it's going to need some more chunkiness. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm going to go get some more salt. Put the lid on this guy. Here we go. Teaspoon. So that's about, I know it's two teaspoons for sure. It might be 2.5 to that little bit of paint. Yeah, it looks pretty chunky. I might chunk it up a little bit more. There we go. Oh yeah. So you can see if you're doing like a big piece of furniture, this would take some paint, right? This is just a tiny little 12 by 12 piece. Where's my brush? Here we go. One of the things though, a little hack, I should do a video on this, but a little hack for really inexpensive paints, most of you probably already know this, but if you go to your paint store and just go in the paint that's mismatched or mismixed, it's not mixed properly or they missed it, then you can get quarts, gallons for really inexpensive. Sometimes they're only $5 for like a gallon or something. So anyway, little hack for getting large quantities of paint in various colors. You're not going to get to choose a color, obviously, but sometimes they have just the color you're looking for. All right, we're going to go ahead and put one more color on here before we call it good. Go wash up this. All right, one more color. This is Social Art Workings Deep Yellow. This is kind of got a lot of red in it, so it's orangish, or a little more orange. It's still yellow, but compared to the yellow that's on there. And so I'm just going to put a little bit less than we've been using. Of paint, but about the same on the salt and plaster of Paris. Once this one dries, then I will coat it with white over the whole thing without any salt. And then I'm going to let all that dry. If I weren't doing a video, I'd let it dry overnight. But kind of need to show this. So I'll just let it dry for 3-4 hours. Oh yeah, it's going to be just great. Okay. Chunky monkey. Yeah. Okay, I think we're good to go. I'm just going to let this dry, and then I'm going to come back and put white on it again, like I mentioned. Okay, on this coat, I'm just going to put some white on it. Cream, it's actually not white, it's got a little bit of yellow in it, but I'm not going to use anything else with it. It's just going to be white or cream by itself, and I'm going to go over the whole thing. Then we'll let that dry for a couple hours. And I'm kind of dabbing because there's chunkies on the top, and if I just do a straight brush, it's going to knock a lot of those off before they have a chance to dry for a few hours. So, all right, let that dry for a few hours. We'll come back, see what happens. Okay, there's a couple different ways. Make sure this is working. Yep, it is. There's a couple different ways that we can handle this. You could first chip it, scrape it, and then sand it, or you could just go in and straight sand it. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it outside, and I'm going to scrape a little bit first, and then I'll sand it from there. So I'm going to take it outside. It is really, really windy. I don't think we'll be able to get audio, but we'll see what happens here. All right. Not sure how good we can see that. We'll just give it a little scrape first, and then we'll sand it. Obviously a really messy process. Okay, on this, I'm just going to finish scraping this, and I'll scrape the sides, go ahead and scrape the top, and then I'm going to let it set because it's not totally dry yet. Once it gets totally dry overnight, then I will give it a quick sand with like something like 120 maybe, real easily. I want to save all that white in there that I can, but that'll be it. I'll just quick sand it with 120, and we'll be good to go. Then it'll be ready. In my case, I will put some resin on it, and I'll just make a charcuterie board. So thank you for joining me. Have a good night.